Puedes hablar en público más firme. Porque te sientes más confidente. Las cositas que unas gentes creen que son el fin del mundo, para ti no más nada. No importa.
You guys, you won't offend me if you keep eating, but you will offend me if you keep talking. Hey, anybody else get that potato soup? That was amazing. Who made that? Who made it? Oh, Stacy, that's right. You made that. Wow. I totally forgot too. That was incredible. That was, it was, right?
That's how it's done. That's how it's done.
Man, I didn't realize that.
That's right.
Very good
He's not really dirty.
Yeah. Yeah, I read that. Yeah, I read that on the internet. You should do that amount of time. Compliment your wife's cooking.
Happy wife, happy
That
life.
command.
Yeah, yeah.
What is the position of that command?
What?
That command. What is the position?
That's number one.
Yeah, it's number 1. Yeah, it's maybe number
To
3.
say something like the second one.
Yeah. All right, so this is Hebrew lesson 2, beginner's Hebrew lesson 2. So you got how many more classes to go after this? 6 more to go. And then I'm gonna, if you make it through all 6 after this, I'm gonna have to have you come up and read from the Torah like I did today, in front of everyone.
You have to attend all 6 to do that.
No. But if you attend all 6, then you have to do it. No, that's fine. But I will, from time to time, I will actually call people up. You know, I'll give you a week notice or so, a week to a day's notice. If you don't want to, just tell me no. But if you wanted to come up and read from the Torah, you could. And I'll give you websites to go to where you can show you the vocalization of it and make sure you learn it correctly. Because I do that before I read from the Torah scroll today. I sat at my kitchen table this morning with my Hebrew Bible and read through it a couple times to make sure I pronounced things correctly before I read it from up here. And most of you wouldn't know the difference if I messed up, but it's a form of worship, so I want to make sure I do it the right way. So, Hebrew lesson 2. What we're going to do, let's say through the Hebrew Aleph Bet 3 times. And then I'm going to quiz you all on, first, before I do that, did anybody do their homework? How many, what was the first one? How many letters are in the Torah? No, that's how many letters in the Hebrew alphabet.
304,801 or 805.
You get the prize, yeah. Yeah, that's how many words are in the Torah, right? Yeah.
Oh, no, that was letters.
That's how many letters in the Torah, yeah. So say a number, 304,000.
801.
Almost 305,000 letters in a Torah scroll. That Torah scroll we had out today. 305,000 letters in that. How many words are in the Torah? Not unique words, but how many words? Did you get that one?
Yeah.
What?
79,981.
All right. You win absolutely nothing. Except a high five. But yeah, there's it's amazing. And we're going to watch another video today about a female scribe, and she's writing the Torah. She's going to go through some other customs and laws associated with writing the Torah scroll. But we'll go ahead and say this 3 times through, starting with the Aleph. And remember, like I said, we're going to skip the repetitive letters. We're going to go Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet, and so on. Okay? So we'll say it 3 times through. Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Het, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samech, Ayin, Pei, Sadi, Kuf, Resh, Shin, Tav. I will do it again. Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Het, Tet, Yud, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samech, Ayin, Hey, Sadi, Kuf, Resh, Shin, Tav. And we'll go a little bit faster one more time through. Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yud, Kaf, Lamed, Mim, Nun, Samit, Ayin, Pei, Sadi, Kuf, Resh, Shin, Tav. All right. Anybody have it committed to memory? Anybody? Think they got it down? No. Anybody want to show off their skills and show us so they can do it from memory? No shame if you can. First thing I'm going to have you do today. Now I'm going to take. Educators call this a pretest. A pretest. So I want you to get out your notebooks. Did anybody? If you forgot your notebook today, you have to leave. That was messing. I know Adrian forgot his, but I have extras. If anybody needs one, want one? Right in. I want you to get out a piece of paper, and maybe you guys can just. You can do it in your head, or just not do it, or you want to borrow a piece of paper or something like that. You want to loan them a piece of paper? Anybody need a pencil, writing utensil? Here's what I want you to do. Number your paper 1 through 10 on the left-hand margin. Number your paper 1 through 10 on the left-hand margin. Number your paper 1 through 10 on the left-hand margin. All right, put your pencils down when you're done, so I know when everyone's done numbering. Put your pencils down. So. You ready? Yeah, I'm a teacher, right? Put your pencils down and stare at me. That's what I would say. Stare at me awkwardly. Yeah. You just want to ball it up and throw it at me. Some of you might revert back into your middle school ways if I'm not careful. Todd might put gum in Joanne's hair or something. All right. Here's what I want you to do. If you've numbered 1 through 10, I want you to take 1 minute and write as many of the Hebrew letters as you can in order. Just the first 10. All right? Starting with Aleph. I want you to write from memory the first 10. As many as you can. Don't cheat. Write Aleph and so on. All the way to 10 and then stop. As many as you can, but don't cheat. Don't look at your charts. Yeah, put those away. Away. Can't look at my screen up here, Karen. All right, 30 seconds left. Just the first 10. Robinson's cheating.
No, I just watched.
Okay, all right. Making sure.
I don't have paper. It's my fault.
All right. Put your pens, pencils down. Here we go. I'm going to plug this back in, and you're going to grade yourself. You ready? Yeah, you did. How many do you think you got them all right? Uh-oh. Joanne says she did. All right, let's see. Yeah, switch papers and grade it. No. All right, grade yourself. See how you did.
Yeah. This is right. You put it right in Hebrew, not in English.
All right, grade yourself. See how you did. Some of you wrote in English letters, spelling out each letter. That's all right. That's all right. All right, grade yourself. How'd you guys do? Just the first 10.
No, I didn't want to do a sign, but my Gimmel's back. What I did, I did.
All right, who got 100? Who got them all 10 for 10? Who was 10 for 10? Anybody? Oh, nice. You were, but you were writing in English? That's good, though. And Joanne, you got 10 for 10? Did you write it in English or Hebrew characters?
I did both.
Did both? Wow.
Oh my goodness.
You got something on your nose right there. All right, please. All right, well, good. We'll come back to this. Here's what I want you to do. Circle the ones that you missed. Just put a circle around it. If it's blank, just put a circle around it, okay? It's going to be part of your homework. All right. Next thing I want you to do, I want you to get into groups of 3 to 4 people. 3 to 4 people. I'm going to get you up and moving here. 3 or 4 people, okay? Get to groups of 3 to 4 people. I don't see anybody moving. There's 3 over there. You're a group. You're a group. Todd, Joanne, maybe Robinson, his son. You're a group. And just, yeah, maybe this end right here can be a group. Okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to write a word in Hebrew up on the board, straight out of the Siddur, a word that you read this morning and you should be familiar with. And I'm going to write it up here in the first group to figure out that word, and maybe you can designate like a spokesperson. Figure that word out and raise your hand and tell me you win. We're going to do 10 words total. You ready? I don't give prizes. I give high fives. Okay. Here's the first one. You ready? Here's the first one. Everybody ready? You know who your group is? You know who your teammates are? All right. Here we go. First one. That should be it. Everybody see it okay? First group to get it. What'd you say? Baruch, got it. What's your team name?
Now we gotta come up with a name?
The Baruchs, yeah. All right, good job. They got it. It's Baruch. All right, so it starts with a bait, resh, a vav with the ball in the belly, and then a final cough. So Baruch. You say Baruch. It is guttural. This is the same root as a knee. All right, or lightning. Barak is lightning. But it has the idea, when you see lightning coming out of the sky, it's not just straight down, it's kind of curvy, right? It bends. Baruch has the idea of bending your knee. You bow. So when you say, blessed are you, you may see me up here sometimes, I actually bend my knee and I bow, because I'm literally doing that. You know, when I say blessed, you're bowing, okay? All right? It's Baruch. All right?
The last one is final calf.
Final cough, yes. We're going to talk about final letters more today. Let me do another one. Let's see. One that we do in Hebrew. This one right here. I'm minimizing the vowel points a little bit. So it's kuf, dalet, vav, shin. First group to get it. No pressure. One letter at a time to sound the vowel.
Yes.
You got it, yeah. The Baruch's got it again. Kadosh, okay? So it's kaf, so it makes a ka sound. Dalet makes a d sound. Vav, he's saying, oh, I got the ball. Remember, oh, I got the ball. And then a sheen with the dot over the right hand spike that comes up. So it goes sh, okay? So it's ka-do-osh, kadosh, which means what? What does kadosh mean? Holy, yeah. All right? You guys ready for another one? Let me find one here.
It's easy to drive the
Okay, here's one. You ready? I actually wrote this one last week.
Aleph. Dalet.
Aleph, Dalet, Nun, Yod. You got it, yeah. Adonai. There's no vowel points on here. Adonai. But yeah, Adonai. I'm going to have to take Wendy and move her to a different team, I think. Switch over. Okay. Let's do a few more. Here's one right here. Okay, let's do a few more. Here's a sheen, a mem, and then an ayin. Somebody sounding it out. One letter at a time, sound it out.
Shema.
Miss Joanne got it. Which team are you on? There you go. Everybody give her a pat on the back. She just got your point on the board, or got your team on the board. All right. Here's another one.
Oh, gotta finish writing this one.
Let's do this one.
Shema means to hear.
Let's go with Lamed. Sorry, it's kind of bumping up against that one. Lamed. Ayin. Lamed, Ayin. A Vav, he's catching the ball above his head. Another Lamed. And then a final Mem. Final Mem. So Lamed, Ayin, Vav, Lamed, final Mem. This is one that you read this morning. I'm on the same page as the Shema. So remember that Lamed makes a l, and then this guy is saying, oh, I got the ball. And then this is making another l sound, and then that m sound. You sing it. There you go, you got it. Le'olam, le'olam. What does le'olam mean? It means, in its most literal sense, it means the horizon out there. The horizon. Does the horizon ever end? No, the horizon never ends. You can walk that way, you can never find the end of the horizon. That is that concept of le'olam. It's forever. It's limitless. So when we say Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad, we say Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Vayed, whose kingdom is for all eternity. We can never find the end of his kingdom. Okay, here's another one. Do a few more. This is a Vav. Then we have an Aleph. We have a Hey. I'm running out of room. We have a Beit. A Beit. And then we have another Hey. Okay? Sorry guys, it's so sloppy. Vav, Aleph, Hey, Beit, Hey. Okay, I'll give you a minute, Chuck. Oh, I'm sorry, this is actually, I'm sorry, the last letter is a Tav. Sorry, the last letter is a Tav. I'm sorry. He's like, now I got it. Now I cracked the code.
Yeah.
So,
Spell it
Vav,
right.
Aleph, Hey, Beit, and Tav. So, sound it out, one letter at a time. See if you can figure it out. We said this earlier today as well. Find an eraser. Anybody? You want a hint? Okay. This is the beginning of the prayer that comes directly after the Shema. Ve'ahavta. Okay? Notice there's no vowels in here, okay? And I'm teaching you without vowels because when you do get vowels, you're gonna be wizards at it. But this is a Vav. You notice he's not catching a ball on his stomach or above, so it just makes a V sound. Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta. It means, and you shall love. Okay? To ahava means to love. Ahava is love. It comes from the root hav, which means to give. Because God so loved the world that he gave, right? That's the concept of loving. True love gives of yourself. So ahava. So this is ve'ahavta. Let me find another word. I'm going to write it bigger this time so you can see it better. Here's a shorter one for you. Got it, yeah. Kavod. Kavod. Let me talk you through this word. You have a cough, makes a k sound. A soft bait, so it's going to make a v. Okay, so k, v, o, The kavod. And what does kavod mean? Anybody know? Baruch Shem Kavod Malkuto Leolam Vayed. Kavod. Its most literal translation is liver. Liver, yeah. So why do you have the liver in the Shema? Baruch Shem Kavod. Well, because it also means glory. Glory. So glory is a very abstract term. I don't know what glory means really. But every time you see a biblical character come across the glory of God, what is the first thing they do? They fall on their face, right? Like something heavy just fell on them. So kavod is the idea of like heaviness, because the liver is the heaviest organ in your body. It's also the only organ that can regenerate itself too and heal itself, is the liver, the kavod. So the kavod has the idea of like heaviness. So when you come across God's glory, you hit the deck. You basically fall on your face because it's heavy. Okay? Kavod. Baruch Shem Kavod Malkuto Leolam Vayed. So his kingdom is heavy. So when you get to his kingdom, you fall in his face. It's the literal translation of the Shema there. Okay? Here's another one you read just this morning, or at least you said it. A lamed, a resh, an ayin, and then a final kaf. Another one that you read this morning. So sound it out. People are trying. Comes after the ve'ahavta. I heard somebody say it. What? L'recha. Yeah. So we say ve'ahavta and you shall love. L'recha. Basically that means as yourself. As yourself. Kamoka. No, I'm sorry. L'recha is your neighbor. Kamoka is yourself. As yourself. Okay? So, this is like your neighbor, okay? L'recha. Alright? So I'm trying to find words that you're already familiar with. Okay, here's another one I'm going to give you. That you read today and you recited today. We'll do, maybe this will be the last one before we move on. Okay? Hey, Vav, Dalet, and then a different Vav where he's catching the ball in his stomach. You can figure that one out right there. Yeah, Hodu. If I give Miss Joanne another pat on the back for you. Hodu, it means give thanks. Hodu. It shares the same root as Todah, which in it means thanks, gratitude, Todah. And in Israel, if you were to exchange like goods or something at a store, you say Todah Rabbah. Todah Rabbah means thank you very much. Rabbah means great. So thank you greatly. All right? I think that'll be it. Let's stop there. I hope that didn't squash your dreams of learning biblical Hebrew, but we'll do that every time we come in. We'll practice a few more words like that. But it's really important that you memorize this, because if you memorize this, you're going to be able to sound those out. I mean, it's going to take you a while, but you should be able to sound those out. The great thing about biblical Hebrew is that it sticks to its phonetic sounds. Okay? English does not. So if you're trying to learn English and you've learned it, like you learn English as your second language, you've learned the third hardest language in the world. Or maybe some people say the second hardest language. The first is Mandarin, and then English is right under that. It's one of the hardest languages in the world. Biblical Hebrew is much easier because what you see is what you get. It's going to sticks true. Like in English, the letter G, you can pronounce the letter G as a J or a G, and it doesn't stay consistent. Or the word sight, S-I-G-H-T, it should be pronounced sigit, but we don't say it that way. We say sight. And it's so confusing, but with Hebrew, it's not that way. It's more consistent. Let me unplug this and go to my notes real fast.
It's consistent in the pronunciation, not consistent in the meaning.
It is consistent in the meaning, but it's just the meanings grow in their every Hebrew word has a physical, tangible action that you can tie it to. Just like the liver, kavod, it's heavy. It's a thing or an action that you can tie every word. Like Baruch, blessed be, it's bending your knee. You know, it's a literal action, okay?
It's more about the context, right?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I want to explain the final forms of letters. Now, if you have your Hebrew chart handy, get that out. I want to explain the 5 final forms of letters, okay? Because it's going to be confusing. Like I said, Hebrew does not have capital letters. It does not have commas. It doesn't have any punctuation. But it has 5 final forms, okay? And you have them here on your chart. The one, let me actually put this back up here. 5 final forms, in case you didn't bring your chart. Nope, that's not it. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Okay, 5 final forms. You got, the first one is a kaf. You have these two pretty much the same, and then you have a kaf. That always falls at the end of a word, like Baruch. You would see that final kaf. And so basically the bottom of it drops out like a swinging door, and it drops out, and it extends it down below the rest of the letters. That's the first. It still makes the same sound, okay? It's important. All the final form letters make the same sounds. They're just at the end of a word. All right? And then we've got a final mem. So like the word mayim. It would be spelled mem, yod, and a final mem. I don't know what happened to my marker. But mayim is the final mem. The next one is a final nun. Can anybody think of a word that would end with a final nun? Anybody? I've got one here in my notes. We'll come back to it. I'll show you some more examples. Final nun. Then the next one you've got is a final pay. You're not going to see final pays very often. Final pays are probably the rarest form of final letters. You've got a final sadi. Sadi, basically the end just kicks out from that. That one, the word haaretz, the earth, aretz, that ends with the final sadi. Okay? Like we say in the blessing, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. It has the final sadi at the end of it. Okay? That's it. Those are the final letters. So it's a little bit more that you got to remember. Some of them are very similar to their original parent letter, but some of them are very different. Like I would say the final kaf is very different. But some of them are very similar. This one you can always confuse with a vav. But just know that the final nun drops down below the rest of the letters if you see it on a Torah scroll, whereas the vav does not. It looks just like a vav though. So it can be a little bit confusing.
And the cough would drop down as well?
The kaf would drop down as well, yeah. Yep. Any questions on that? Let me have you write down some final form words real quick. Let me go back to my notes and I'll show you what those are. Some final form words. Let me expand this out some. Okay, first one is Baruch, and if you can see it over there, Baruch, it's Beit, Resh, Vav, and a final Kaf. Just like I wrote up here earlier, it was one of the first words I wrote, Baruch. See that final Kaf? And then, I'll give you a second to write that, sorry. I go too fast. The next word would be mayim. Mayim. What does mayim stand for? What does it mean?
Water.
Water, yeah. Like mayim chaim means living water. Mayim is water. So it has a final mem. You see that final mem? It looks like a little box. The next final letter would be the word aleph. The word aleph, which actually means 1,000. 1,000. It's used all throughout the book of Numbers during the census that they're taking. Aleph means 1,000. And it has a final pay. Final pay. There we go. Aharon. Aaron. We see the final nun, don't we? This font is weird. It changes things a little bit. This font isn't the greatest. But the final nun is just basically the top, the same top, but the bottom drops out. And then the last final form is Eretz, which means land or earth. Like Eretz Yisrael means the land of Israel. Eretz. Okay. Are there any questions? Preguntas?
Yeah, you needed to just start writing the way you write it.
You have to.
It takes practice, yeah. And what I would recommend is just writing the letters of the alphabet over and over. Write
I
them.
have, but when you do it on the board, it just doesn't ring.
Oh, it's sloppy.
No, it's different.
Yeah, you get used to it because you're learning a whole different language. I mean, you got to know, the different strokes, and it'll take time to get there. It takes time. It takes practice. I remember when I first started learning Hebrew, the very first thing I did is I took a composition notebook just like this, and I started with the book of Genesis, and I began writing. I had a Hebrew Bible, and I just started copying the entire book of Genesis into a composition book just like this, and that's how I practiced writing Hebrew. I didn't understand I couldn't even read it, but I just wanted to write it, and I just wanted to learn it so bad that in my free time I would just sit there and I would sit at lunch when I was at work, my lunch break, and just sit there and copy it, the book of Genesis for some reason. And I still have that notebook. But that gave me a lot of practice, just writing it over and over. So again, these final letters, they don't change the sound. The sounds do not change. Just the appearance. Just the appearance. So kind of like how we capitalize letters at the beginning of a sentence, right? We capitalize, one of the rules of our language is we capitalize the first letter of a sentence or someone's name or something like that, proper nouns. In Hebrew, there's certain letters that have a different form at the end of a word. So, yeah.
So as I look at just Baruch, and we know that they don't have vowels, Lechfer specifically.
Yeah, that
And let's
does.
say I just took a list of Hebrew words and the written words, Baruch, and I want to practice writing it. Do I just focus on the consonant letters?
The consonants?
to make sure-
It's up to you. It's up to you. I would. Because it's a lot to add all the different vowels in there. And we're going to learn vowels like 2 lessons from now. We'll learn all the different vowels, okay? But I would just focus on the letters. So I would just do that. The vowels, again, were put into the text. I don't remember the year exactly, but I want to say the 3rd century is when they actually started putting vowels into the text to codify it better. Yeah. Okay, any other questions before we move on?
Like, it looks like in Aharon.
Yeah.
Okay, the 4th letter, is that a Vav?
It is a Vav, yeah. So
Okay.
this font is weird. I don't really like this font. But yeah, that is... I wonder if I could blow this up and make it... it is a Vav right there. There's a whole other script of Hebrew called cursive script. And it's a blending of... it's basically like shorthand Hebrew, but we're not learning it. It's just used in Israel today. But if you ever look at like some of the old documents of like Ariel Sharon, like his journals and stuff, he wrote a lot in Hebrew script. It's kind of like our cursive. But anyways, any other questions? I wanted to give you a resource. I posted it on the DMF Facebook page, but let me show you. If you Google, and I would encourage you to try this. If you Google Hebrew 500, this guy went through the Torah. He went through the whole Tanakh, and he comprised a list of the 500 most reoccurring words in the Tanakh. And he compiled them, and he calls them the Hebrew 500. And he then put them in alphabetical order. So as you get more familiar with how to read Hebrew, you'll want to also expand your vocabulary of Hebrew. So when you read a word, you'll know what it is you're reading. For instance, Av, father. And then Eved, which is more like a servant. They don't have the meaning up there. Here's Evin. Evin is stone. And then Adon is master or Lord. Adonai is Lord. So you kind of see where I'm going with this. These are the most 500 frequently used words in the Tanakh. So I would download this PDF and read through it once a week or something and just become familiar with it. Because if you know these words, and 500 words sounds like a lot, but really our brains are amazing. We can retain so much information We have no idea. If you read through it once a week, that will really set you up for success when you're reading the Torah for yourselves, because you'll know your vocabulary will be expanded. So these are just basic nouns and verbs. They don't have any prefixes or suffixes attached to them. We'll get into that towards the very end of the course. But these are just basic nouns and verbs, like Adam, which is really cool because you can see Adam is the name for the first human being ever created. He was made from the Adamah. Adam came from Adamah, the soil, right? And it says in the book of Genesis that Adam was brought forth from the dirt, right? He was formed from the dust of the earth, and then he breathed his breath into him. Also, inside the word Adam is the word dam, which means blood. You see the dalet and the mem? That means blood. Dam means blood. The life is in the blood. So within the word Adam, you have a spiritual lesson there. Adamah means all of humanity, or it could mean the earth. So we are connected to the dirt. We were brought forth from the dirt, and we'll return to the dirt, and then he will resurrect us back from the dirt. But Adam. All right? So Google, how do you get this PDF? You Google Hebrew 500. Hebrew 500. And I highly recommend you download it, print it out. It was this German guy whose name I can't pronounce. Here it is. Siegfried Kreuzer. Right there. You can write that name down too. And Google that with there. Sorry I don't have the exact web address, but if you Google that Siegfried Kreuzer and Hebrew 500, you'll find that PDF and you can download it. Let me zoom back out here and show you. You can also email me or give me your email address, and I'd be happy to email this to you as well as an attachment. But this has the 500 most frequently used words in the Tanakh. So you can see it looks like a lot, but it's worth practicing if you were looking for reasons to practice reading. Okay, everybody good? Any questions? Questions? So Hebrew is tricky because you're learning not only different letter system, but you're learning completely different words too. You're learning a whole different vocabulary. So you kind of have like two hurdles to jump over when you're learning Hebrew. You have to learn how to read the words, and then you have to learn how to understand the words that you're reading. So we're kind of like twice removed. Whereas Spanish, it uses pretty much the same alphabet. There's a few variances, but with Spanish, I could read Spanish because I already know the alphabet. But could I understand it? No, more often than not, no, I couldn't. Maybe 10%. But I could read it at least. Hebrew, you can't even read it. I got to teach you how to read it and then teach you how to understand it. So you're kind of two hurdles to jump through, like I said. But this will help you tremendously to read and understand it. All right? Let's move on. The other thing I want to show you guys, all of you have smartphones. I would imagine most of you have smartphones. There is an app I want you to download on your smartphone. It's completely free. I'm going to pull it up on mine real quick. What I do is I download this app, and I wish I had It's called Biblical Hebrew Vocabulary. It's a free app, Biblical Hebrew Vocabulary. Okay? It's a flashcard app, basically, for Biblical Hebrew. Biblical Hebrew Vocabulary app. It's completely free, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Do you have a better marker?
Look in that little tub right there on the table. It'll take you through the alphabet, where you can quiz yourself on the alphabet by going like this, and you can see all the different letters. Let's say you get stuck on one and you're like, oh, I don't know that letter. Tap the screen and it'll show you. Final cough. See? Go like this. Cough.
What's the name of the app?
I don't remember. Yeah, Biblical Hebrew Vocabulary. What is that? A Vav, right? I'm going to try to get an adapter for my phone so I can do this up here and we can put it up here. And I can go through the flashcards with you on the screen, but I need to get an adapter for the iPhone to HDMI. So you see, and you tap the screen, Sadi, okay? So, you can sit there on your lunch break at work or wherever and just go through this. It also has top 1,000 words used in the Hebrew Bible. So you click on that, it'll take you there. You can go words 1 through 25. and you can master those 25 words and then move on to the next 25. So that would be bo, to come or to go or to enter. All right? Mean, it means like from or with. And you tap it, more than or from. So it gives you the meaning of each word. Elohim, which is God, right? Yisrael. So you kind of see where I'm going with this. It's kind of a cool. And you've got vowels. If you want to practice your vowels ahead of time, I didn't teach them yet, but you can practice your vowels. So it's a great app and it's free, as far as I remember. It's called Biblical Hebrew Vocabulary. Let me show you. It's kind of hard to see, but I'll walk around and show you what it looks like. It's that one right there with the Aleph Beit on like an index card. You see that? Okay. So when you go to your app store or whatever, you can see it. But this app has really strengthened my Hebrew knowledge.
Okay.
See that? It looks like this. It says Aleph Beit on it.
Yeah, that's like $2.99.
Is it $2.99? Okay. Sorry guys, it's $2.99. It's $3. You see it? So when Shabbat's over, you can download it.
Yeah.
All right. But that will help tremendously. It will help tremendously. A few more things for you today. Any Darth Vader fans? Any Star Wars fans? Anybody? Yeah?
Yeah.
You guys all know who Darth Vader is, right? Let me show you a picture of him. Cool Hebrew trivia for you. Here's a picture of him. For some reason, and I can't figure out why, here's a picture of him. It's cool, right? Darth Vader. Everybody see the breastplate he's wearing? That weird little thing with all the buttons on it? Do you know that there's hidden Hebrew letters in there? Yeah, I'll show you a picture. So everybody see the little breastplate? We're going to zoom in on it. See, there's some writing. There is some writing. You can't really make it out in this picture, but I'll show you. I'll show you a picture where someone did take it and they zoomed in on it. And it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't form like actual words, and some of the letters are actually upside down. But I just thought it'd be a fun little tidbit for you. I have no idea. You can see. See, like this one's completely upside down. But for some reason, I don't know if, who is the creator of Star Wars? George Lucas. I don't know if he did that or someone who's in costume did that. But it's really fascinating. Like that would spell Mitzvah or something, Mitzvah at the top left. It doesn't make any sense. Like Hebrew scholars have looked at it and they're like, this doesn't make any sense. It's just they picked random letters and put it on his breastplate. So anyway, it's kind of cool. Huh?
We read somewhere, I don't know if it's for Star Wars but they'll take like an Indian language and they'll make words from it for their character.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if that's what
it could be. Yeah, they were just like, we need something that looks foreign. That's cool. Anyways, a little trivia you can throw at your friends. Make you sound smart. All right. Yeah, you would think. Something.
When our scopes for our rifles for a while, once people found out, it became a big deal.
Yeah.
Before there was a biblical verse on each one of those.
I think I heard about that. Yeah. It's very politically incorrect. Yeah. No, I'm messing with you. Okay. Well, I don't want to overwhelm you guys with everything we learned today, so we're going to stop there for the day, okay? And just keep working on your sight reading, okay? Just like when you all were learning how to read English, you started at one letter at a time, and what did your teacher always say? Sound it out. Just sound it out, right? Sound it out. You start one letter at a time, right to left, and you just sound it out. And then you say it faster, and then you say it faster, and eventually you're like, Mashiach, Mashiach, Mashiach. And you realize what you're saying. You're saying Messiah. And just, I encourage you to do that, okay? So I have another homework assignment for you. Okay, completely optional. Completely optional. If you missed any letters on the quiz, I want you to write them 10 times each. If you missed any letters on the quiz, I want you to write those letters 10 times each. Okay? It's completely optional, but it'll get you some serious brownie points if you come back next week having done this.
Oh, we have to turn it in?
Yeah.
Can you do that honestly?
I have to see your work. All right? Next thing I want you to do, if you find the time, a person who is called up to the Torah to read during a Torah service, what are they called? A person called up to the Torah to read, what are they called? They're called up to the Torah to read, what are they called? And, part 2, why are they called this? Why are they called this? Person who's called up to the Torah to read, what are they called? And actually, they're not called the Aliyah. They're making Aliyah. They're making Aliyah, yeah.
This is why I skipped. I didn't sign up for this class because I knew how intense you were.
Yeah. I try to get your money's worth, right?
You keep trying to say,
Yeah,
you keep
it's a
saying
big
your
thing.
homework is, but there's 6 parts or something to it.
What? Yeah, Stacy.
It's like download the app and print out the 500 words.
Yeah.
The first
Write
one
them
comes
down.
up, review your alphabet, write the ones you missed. I'm already on 5.
Did y'all pay Stacy to complain for you?
Try to
I think people like the challenge. Okay.
like 1 or 2 challenges.
Oh, thank you so much. No, all that is optional. Being here is optional, and I really do appreciate you guys wanting to learn this and wanting to study it. It will make you a better disciple of our Master, I promise. Learning the language that he would have read his Bible in. You know what I'm saying? That's really special, I think. So we're gonna watch we might watch half of it, maybe 4 to 5 minutes of it. But it's this female scribe, modern day female scribe, and she's going to talk about how she got into being a scribe, and then the various laws. So maybe watch 4 or 5 minutes, okay? I think we got time, right?
The
Please no
Torah
talking over there.
is the 5 books of Moses, and it's the source and base of the Jewish tradition, revealed to Moses on Mount Sinai by God.
No blocking the screen.
And we're the people of the book, so this is the book. When a Torah is read in synagogues, it has to be read from a scroll. It has to be written in a particular way, by hand. My name is Julie Seltzer, and I'm currently working as a scribe, a soferet in Hebrew, which means that I write sacred writings. My role in this exhibit is to write a Torah that will be used in synagogues and in communities that are in need of a Torah. I'm a new scribe. This will be my first complete Torah. It's a science. It's a science that I'm still learning. Traditionally, you go to a school and you learn how to be a scribe as a student of scribing. But as a woman, these schools were not open to me. So in the beginning of my process, I looked online and I taught myself some of the basics. And then eventually I found a teacher. And from there, that's when I really started learning the craft and how to properly form the letters. And it's also when I began learning the laws associated with scribing. You start with parchment. And parchment is made from the skin of a kosher animal. And then there's something to write with, which is the quill, which is, for me, the most challenging aspect currently. Cutting the quill from a feather. Just getting it the right size, the right sharpness, the right angle, the right flow of ink. Before starting a project, and often during a project, it's traditional to go to a mikveh, a ritual bath, which is really for spiritual elevation. And also before you begin the project, you have to state an intention out loud that you're doing this writing for the sake of the sanctity of what it is that you're writing. A Torah has 304,805 letters. Not one more, not one less, or else the entire thing is invalid. Every letter has rules that govern how the letter has to be written, because a letter can't look too much like another letter. If you look at a Torah closely, there are score lines. At the top of each line, there's an indentation, and it keeps the line straight. Another interesting rule is that there can't be a barrier between the hand and the Torah. I can't wear gloves that cover my hands. Another rule is that you can't write from memory. So even if I chanted this particular section at my bat mitzvah and I know it by heart, I still have to look at the written text, and I have to say each word out loud before I write it. I have the photocopy of the tikkun, so I underline each line that I write so I can follow where I am exactly.
Let me pause it right there and we'll pick up next week where we left off. But it reminded me of this verse in Jeremiah 31:33. Here the days are coming, says Adonai, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. It will not be like the covenant I made with their fathers on the day I took them by the hand and brought them out of the land of Egypt, because they, for their part, violated that covenant, even though I, for my part, was a husband to them. For this covenant I will make with the house of Israel after those days, says Adonai. I will write my Torah within them and put it on their hearts. So if you take like the laws of writing, a kosher Torah scroll like that, just imagine that's the level of specialness and delicacy he takes with us in writing that on our hearts. Just that precision, when we need it, slowly, over time, and it's just a beautiful picture of him writing it on our hearts as well. So that being said, we'll close with the Torah blessing. Y'all can go home and take a nap. As my mother-in-law says, fulfill a mitzvah. Take a nap. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chei olam nata botech betochenu Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe. You've given us a Torah of truth and planted eternal life in our midst. Blessed are you, O Lord, giver of the Torah. Amen. Y'all are dismissed. Yes, thank you, brother.